Hello and welcome back to Matt Hayes Tottenham blog and today's Tottenham Hotspur Transfer Talk live stream. I'm joined by CharlieTHFC to bring you all the latest Tottenham transfer news, including updates on Christian Eriksen, Dele Alli, Harvey White, Jack Clarke, and a small discussion on Heung-min Son's new contract and any potential move for Eder Militao. Charlie, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you getting on?
Yeah, Matt, I'm good as always. Thank you for having me on. And yeah, I like doing these transfer streams. A lot of interesting stuff to talk about, as always. But yeah, Matt, as always, thanks for having me on your channel.
Yeah, delighted to have you, Charlie. Really appreciate you giving up your time for this one today. Before we get into the transfer news, if you are new to the channel and you want more of these Transfer Talk live streams, Transfer Talk breaking news videos, live watch-alongs, podcasts, and anything you could want from a Spurs channel, make sure to go down and smash that subscribe button, and let's see if we can get to 5.2 thousand subscribers before the end of today. And also give this video a thumbs up if you're happy with the news that we're about to bring you. So we'll start anyway with Christian Eriksen, and we've got a very interesting update from Fabrizio Romano on this one. He's saying Inter have been so clear with Tottenham, if they want Eriksen back, they have to pay for the loan until the end of the season, plus the salary. Now, this is a really interesting one from Inter Milan. They're saying they've approached a lot of Premier League teams to loan Christian Eriksen to. Eriksen wants a return to the Premier League. According to Charlie Wyatt of The Sun, he wants specifically Tottenham. And Inter Milan have said Tottenham will have to pay a loan fee if they want to bring Eriksen back, but any other Premier League club can do it for free on loan to the end of the season. Charlie, what do you make of that approach by Inter?
Not surprising, simply because of the way we dealt with them with Skriniar, I think, to be fair, and the way we dealt with them with Eriksen the first time around when we were just stubborn. And it doesn't surprise me whatsoever, to be honest. It's just got Levy written all over it. It really does. Just they're trying to do it. They're trying to do it in reverse to us. They're just trying to get one back at us, basically. And yeah, look, if the salary for me, it's like the salary that he's on is like something ridiculous. He's on massive wages. You look at the loan fee. I don't know what sort of how expensive the loan fee they'd be looking for. However, I said this a while ago. My take on Eriksen would be that if we can get him on a loan, sort of not paying much of his wages on a free loan, then I'd be for it. However, if it was sort of either a permanent deal or a loan where we're covering the whole wages, then I wouldn't be 100% keen on it. But yeah, look, as I said, Eriksen, we know we're hearing that he wants to come back. We're hearing that he's keen to return to the Premier League. But with the news that's come out regarding that we have to pay a loan fee in his full wages, I think now that sort of sees this deal as looking quite unlikely and sort of I wouldn't say dead in the water, because you can never rule anything out sort of in the last week of the window, to be honest. But I think it looks more unlikely with that. And particularly, I'm sure we're going to come to Dele Alli in a minute. I think, I think the loan fee situation, I think it just makes it more unlikely, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Fabrizio Romano was saying the main reason Inter Milan are putting this loan fee in any potential deal for Spurs is, look, it's no secret Spurs have been very, very strict in their negotiations with every single club in the past, but especially with Inter Milan. And last January, 6 months left on Christian Eriksen's contract, and we still managed to get £20 million out of Inter Milan. So they see it as, if they are going to give Eriksen back to Spurs, they want to recoup some of that fee that they paid, which is perfectly reasonable. We were also the same with Skriniar, just really strict in our negotiations. We would not budge. We made our offer, and it was as simple as that for Inter. It was either take it or leave it. They left it, and in the end, it's worked out very well for them. He's getting in their team now, one of their main centre backs. So I want to welcome a few people to the stream. We have Lily White Lane, Premier Hotspur TV as well. We've Ethelson saying, I hope Dele stays. He seems loyal. Eriksen was great for us, but he wanted to leave. That's like inviting a disruptive relative back into your house after he's caused a division in the family. We've Timothy, Noy, the Yid Kid, Joey Boy, Simon Cohen, Pranav, Alfie Mole, Caleb, Paul Markey as well. Paul saying he's not worth £7.5 million after tax a year. That type of money will get you a higher grade player. As we're saying, Charles,
that's what I mean.
He hasn't really high wages, and that is the figure. It's £7.5 million after tax. It's a whole lot of money for a player that, if we do get him in, he would probably be a fringe player for us. Like, I can't imagine he would come in and be that first player in the number 10 role. And I've been saying about this deal that I would like to see it happen, because kind of before it came out that we would have to pay a loan fee and that we would have to pay these wages, that it wouldn't really be any sort of an investment or any sort of a loss for us, because we're getting a player in. I assumed it would have been for cheaper than this, and he could be there to play against Wickham in the cup, or if we're winning 3 or 4-0 against Fulham, for him to come on in the last 20 minutes of that to give other players a rest. So I never thought he was going to be that. I always thought it was going to be a player who could help out when it was needed. And people are saying how he downed tools in the last part of his spell at Tottenham, but he didn't want to be there. He wanted to leave, whereas now it seems as though he really does want to come back to Tottenham, a place where he knows he's thrived in the past, where he knows his surroundings, he knows the people there, and a lot of the fans do love him. But what I want to know from you, Charlie, is if you could decide, if it was your decision right now, would you bring Christian Eriksen back in on loan with a loan fee and £7.5 million tax a year?
With the loan fee, with the £7.5 million tax, no. I think it's too much of a risk financially. I think it wouldn't make sense in terms of if it's like a 6-month loan. I don't think it would make sense for me. I think, yeah, I can understand the logic in bringing him in. I think, as I said, if it was a free loan like they're offering to every other club, I'd probably take it. As I said, it gives us another option, gives us another weapon, and adds more creativity, which we do lack sometimes. And I think if he was to come in, it would hopefully be not a bad signing for us. However, with the loan fee, I think it's just too much of a financial risk if it's sort of Eriksen that's not confident, not sort of in it like he was sort of a few years ago. Then that's the risk I see with it. I think he's not the player. We've seen that he's not the player he once was, and I think he still has the qualities. We know that. So that's why I'm saying that if it was like a cheaper loan deal, then I think it would be something just to have a punt at it. You know what I mean? Just give it a go. But with the sort of taxes and sort of the wages and the loan fee, I think for me, if that's the case, then no, I think I'd rather us wait for Sabitzer and save that money for someone like Sabitzer in the summer.
Yeah, I mean that Sabitzer deal I think is one that is looking quite tasty at the moment for any sort of an approach in the summer. He'll have 12 months left in his contract. The fee will go down even more than it already is because of how keen Leipzig usually are to sell on their bigger assets when they do get in a replacement. Of course, they've signed Dominik Szoboszlai from RB Salzburg, and it's just a lot of money. It really is for Christian Eriksen. And the thing is, we'd have to get rid of someone in our team in order to get him in. And that player can't be Jed Sinks. He's under the age of a player who would be counted in the foreign list of foreign players that we have. So it would have to be. I saw there was a comment to one of my videos recently. I forget who it was, so I apologize if you are watching. But it said, "What squad player would we get rid of in order to bring Christian Eriksen in?" Lamella's not leaving. We've heard that from Fabrizio Romano. He's staying beyond this month, beyond any shadow of a doubt. The only player I can really think of is Paulo Gazzaniga. Do you think there's any other player in that squad that we could actually get rid of to bring him in?
I think if you're looking at in January, I'll probably say no, because of course, look, January, it's hard to do deals in January as it is, let alone buying when it comes to selling and stuff. So you said Lamella. I think he's someone that will go in the summer. I think I love Lamella as a player. I love his attitude. I love his sort of commitment. However, we just don't see him on the pitch enough, and I think he would be someone that I'd be willing to let go of in the summer. I think you have to look at people like Lucas Moura as well. You have to look at him saying, is he doing enough? For me, he's done nothing since Ajax. Look, I love the guy for that. I absolutely love the guy. But at the end of the day, you have to be real and you have to say he hasn't done anything since Ajax. So for me, the main sort of foreign, because of the homegrown quota thing, the main sort of foreign players that you're looking at to sell, you're looking at Lamella, Lucas, maybe. There's not too many. A lot of the foreign players are main sort of starters in our team. So I think they're the two that stand out mainly for me, Moura and Lamella. So yeah, look, it's annoying. And you said about Gazzaniga, yet again, we're struggling to sell players. I think he was a player that we probably would have thought might have left by now. Obviously, there's still time, but I'm saying that he was a player that you'd think might have a bit of interest now. Again, same story. We're struggling to sell players, and it's a real problem. And as you said with Jedson, it's a similar thing with Gazzaniga. Like, if you get rid of Gazzaniga, it doesn't do anything for the homegrown quota. It just sort of, because we're too over the limit in the European squad. So I think you have to look at the likes of foreign players. You look at, I said Lamella, Lucas Sanchez is another one that's sort of come to my head as well. He's another one that I think needs to go. So yeah, it's there's a few there that I think I would sell, but at the end of the day, it's about, are we going to get the interest? Are we going to accept that? Are we going to accept any offers? We'll have to wait and see. It's a big if, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Bradley's saying, Matt, do you think selling Ali and bringing in Eriksen would weaken the team or would it strengthen the team? To be honest, I think it strengthens the team. Nothing to do with the quality of player, nothing to do with what I think they can bring when they're on the pitch, but down to the very fact that Eriksen, if he was brought in, would get on the pitch. You know, Dele Alli he's not getting in Mourinho's team. There's obviously some personal reasons behind that, which I say personal reasons, but based on football, if that makes sense, like kind of some disparity between what Jose and Ali want to happen on the pitch. So if Eriksen comes in, Fabrizio Romano said Mourinho wants him in. So because Eriksen will be closer to that starting 11, we'd be closer to actually influencing things on the pitch. For that sole reason, I think it would strengthen the team if somehow we did manage to pull off this swap, getting rid of Ali and bringing in Christian Eriksen. Now, personally, I don't want it to happen. I would rather have Dele Alli than Christian Eriksen. But if Ali's on the pitch, there's no point in that. Like a lot of Spurs fans do love Dele Alli, and fans have turned against Christian Eriksen more than they've turned against Ali, because with Eriksen, he wanted to leave, he wanted out, and it was as simple as that. No money could keep him at the club. Nothing could keep him at Tottenham Hotspur. He simply wanted to leave. Whereas with Dele Alli, I think what it seems to be is his kind of disagreement with the way Jose Mourinho was playing football. And I think the reason fans are sticking with him and are staying on his side, despite the fact that he does want to go. It's the reason he wants to go is he's not playing football. And a lot of fans, I think, will kind of understand where Ali's coming from. And a lot of fans agree with Dele Alli. They want us to be playing more attacking football. So I think Ali it's a weird thing in that he's trying to force a move away from the club, but in a way where the fans still appreciate what he's doing and still appreciate him as a person, as a player. And it'll be disappointing to see him go, but it's needed, I think, for him and for us at this stage. Hi Matt, I'd love Eriksen to return on an option to buy loan. If he can rediscover his form in familiar surroundings, he'd be that extra creativity we need. Mark Woodland with that comment. What do you make of that, Charlie? Would you take him on a loan with an option to buy?
I think maybe, as I said, if the loan was like sort of paying part of his wages with no loan fee and with that option there, then maybe I would, because as you said, the creativity as well, something that we do lack sometimes as well. And again, as Mark says here, if you can rediscover his form, then we've got a top player on our hands. But at the end of the day, he hasn't had that form for what, two years now, something like that. And I think it would be hard for him to sort of get that back. You look at Gareth Bale, since he's come back, he hasn't done it yet. He hasn't done it at all yet. So I would be slightly worried it could be a similar situation with Eriksen there. And I think, yeah, as you said, Matt, I agree. I think if you had to choose between Ali and Eriksen, I'd probably prefer to keep Dele Alli. One, because of his age. Two, his he has a long way to go in his career, Dele Alli. I think Eriksen's not old. He's 29, 28 or something. So Ali's got a long way to go. At the end of the day, look, as the people around the club are saying or something, that they think he just needs to get his mojo back, which could be. I don't know what's going on. There could be another thing in it. Well, maybe he doesn't want to be here, which we know. Maybe his attitude isn't right. And if that's the case, then I think maybe you do have to cut ties with him, because if he doesn't want to be here, if he's sort of causing unrest sort of in the dressing room, then I think you've just got to cut your losses for me. So yeah, that'd be my take on this Eriksen thing. We got David in the building. Come on.
The Irish Hotspur, David. How are you getting on?
All good, lads. All good. How are you keeping?
All good. Cheers for coming on, David. Appreciate it. Christopher W, channel member, saying, how are you today, Matt? I'm all good, Christopher. Thanks for joining. Thanks to every channel member who is there. I have updated the perks for channel members, just published in the last couple of minutes. So if you are a channel member at a Premier League or Champions League level, you'll now, for future games, have access to play rating videos and a little bit more for after every watch along we do. So if you are a channel member, go over and check if you're eligible for those. And if you're not a channel member, hit the join button down below and everything will be explained for you down there for starting at just £1.99 access to all of our member call-in shows. A few more comments here from channel members. Alan Clark says, let's be honest here, Moore brings nothing to our squad. Sloppy in the ball and can't control it, keeps on giving possession away. Paul says, players I would pass out, Moore, Lamella, Hart, Sanchez, Jedson and Winks. And Alan Clark saying, we need to get out some of Pochettino's deadwood, such as Davis, Moore, Lamella, and many more. We need to start making profit and investing in top players instead of the second best. Well, David, I think there's no better comment to start with you. You resonate with that one quite a bit, don't you?
Yeah, I do. To be honest with you, I've kind of changed my stance on Davies a small bit. In fairness, he has actually played well recently, and he'll probably do us till the end of the season. But come the end of the season, then get rid of him. I'd also agree I'd get rid of Lucas Moura. I know they said Lamella's not going anywhere, but I'd get rid of him now at this point as well. You have Gazaniga there you can sell, Sanchez, Harry Winks. There's a lot of players there you can get rid of. A lot of players just aren't good enough. Like if we sold them and replaced them with Mourinho type players, we'd be pissing the league right now.
We would, 100%.
Yeah, I agree with that. We'll have a look at now at some of the news coming out about Dele Alli in the last couple of days. Fabrizio Romano has said Daniel Levy is set to make his decision on Dele Alli's future this week. We know Levy is the one who's been reluctant to let Dele Alli go to PSG. However, this week Levy will make his final decision, and I do feel a lot of that hinges on what happens with Christian Eriksen. Fabrizio Romano also saying on Dele, he said he wants to leave Tottenham, still pushing to join Paris Saint-Germain on loan. Talks on. Spurs are not convinced yet, but PSG won't give up on this deal. Charlie, given that we now have confirmation from Mourinho that talks are on between Spurs and PSG over any potential move for Dele Alli, do you think it's more likely this one will happen? And do you think PSG can manage to sway Daniel Levy with this one?
I think it would be difficult for them, as every club is when it comes to dealing with Levy. I think, look, as the article from Romano says, talks are on. I think that suggests to me that Levy is sort of looking into it. I feel, obviously, as it says there, he's still not convinced, but I have a feeling that maybe he's looking at it just in case something comes up or something. And as it says, PSG won't give up. I think PSG, as it's well documented, Dele Alli is a player that PSG want. Pochettino, of course, being there makes that even more adamant. So, yeah, look, the fact Romano was saying that a decision is going to be made this week, which I haven't even seen that news. When did that piece come out, Matt? That a decision is going to be made this week?
I think Romano. He said it was either on Sky Sports yesterday or on some sort of podcast in the last couple of days.
Oh. Okay, yeah. So I haven't seen that piece, but if that's the case, then I think we're in for an interesting week. I think part of me feels that maybe Levy could sort of reluctantly accept a loan deal sort of in the last week. That's what partly, but then the other part of me says that Levy will sort of do what he sometimes does and just sort of resists everything like he did towards the end of the summer. And we end up keeping Dele Alli. So there's sort of two sides to it for me. I can see both paths in this potential deal. But yeah, it's going to be interesting, this one. I think definitely want to keep an eye on, and I think there could be a lot more coming out from Romano for this one.
Yeah. David Agnew is here saying Ali should go. He plays a second striker role, which we don't need. We need a creative midfielder and one that can take proper shots from outside the box like Sabitzer. Me and you have been talking for quite a while about how Dele Alli he just doesn't fit into the system anymore. The type of player he is not needed in our 11. Do you think it's now come to the point where Ali has had his chance to adapt, he's had his chance to readjust his game, and he hasn't done it? Do you think just let him go?
To be honest with you, Matt, I think it's come to that point a long time ago, even before this transfer window. But I do firmly believe, like, if Ali just turned it around and went Mourinho's way, he'd be one of Mourinho's main players in the team, like he was when Mourinho first came in. It's for me, I'm at the point now where I want to be ambitious in the transfer market, and if it means we have to sell players to get money in to go and buy players, by all means do it. But one thing I don't want to do is we've placed Gareth Bale with Gareth Bale and Christian Eriksen with Christian Eriksen.
Oh God!
Like honestly, right? But where's the ambition? Where's the ambition?
Exactly.
Why are we going back relying on some of the same players? It's an absolute travesty. But for me, look, I'm with you, Matt, and I'm with you, Charlie, and the next man. I don't want Ali to go. I don't. But unfortunately, when I'm looking at my club as a whole, he's our most sellable asset that's not being used. So I don't understand this whole send them out on loan in January, because we need the money to invest. We need the money for him to invest. So sending them out on loan is just stupid. Unless Mourinho has plans for him next season. But I can't see it. So for me, like, we can't loan him. We can't loan him. We need to sell him, because if we loan him out, we have to bring in a replacement for him as well at the end of the day. So for me, we have to sell him if he's going to be sold. None of this loan crap.
How much money do you think we get for him, David?
To me, I think you're talking about 50 million.
Ooh.
Still, to be honest.
Still, I feel, for me, like you say that, David, and I think that 50 million is definitely a reasonable price for him. However, part of me just feels that because of these last 6 months, because of these last couple of years, in fact, I just feel like his value may have dropped, if you know what I mean. I feel like his value's gone down. I don't know if we're going to realistically be able to get 50 million for him, which I think he's worth. I agree with you. I think he's worth.
The player's still in there. It's just not working out.
That's what I mean. That's why
Tottenham go to PSG. The same player that we used to see is going to come out at PSG. The player's still there. It's the attitude that's the problem. So for me, I can't see why you wouldn't take 50 million from him. And believe me, Levy's not going to let him go for anything for small change anyway. Because
no chance.
Like, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, Eriksen was playing shit for us. We still managed to sell him, and if his contract wasn't running down, we would have sold him free for more than what we did. So Ali is definitely worth 50 million or more in my books.
There's some reports coming out saying that Daniel Levy, he's kind of changed his tune on this, and he wants to sell Dele Alli as quickly as possible, because he knows, the longer it goes on, Ali's not going to sign a new contract. His value as an asset is going to go down. Now, he is contracted at the club until the summer of 2024, so that is 3.5 years. But it's now at the stage where it seems as though Daniel Levy is willing to loan Dele Alli out this month. Again, according to some reports, he is willing to loan him out, but only with an option to buy. in the summer. So I do think a straight loan deal, a basic loan deal, is completely out of the question this window. And I think maybe we are just at the point where we do have to sell him. 92 Flamethrower was saying even if he has adapted, he hasn't been able to prove it. So it's just better to let him go on loan. Alan Clark says people talk about favouritism between Dyer and Alli. The truth is, although Eric makes mistakes, he's loyal and commits every game. When Dele simply doesn't have the right attitude, and that's it. It just seems though Dele does not agree with Jose's style of football, and it is disappointing. But at the end of the day, we have to. The manager takes precedence. If this is how he wants to play, and this player doesn't like it, he needs to go. Camo in saying, "Hi, gents, great show."
Sorry, mate. That's a good comment that he made there as well, because the same thing applies to anything in life. It even applies into school when you were younger. Like, you know what I mean? You can be as smart as you want, but if you don't have the right attitude towards your exams and everything else, but then you're not going to do as well as someone that maybe is not as smarter but's put more work in and is more dedicated. You know what I mean? That's exactly why you're seeing Dyer in the squad. Good comment.
Yeah, Camo in saying, "Hi, gents, great show. Appreciate that. Any news on getting a defender this window?" Now, we spoke last week a little bit about Eder Militao, and there's been a little bit of an update today. It's nothing major. Bild, the German newspaper, via THFC report, said Real Madrid want to loan out Eder Militao. Tottenham Hotspur are interested. So the most basic sort of report you can get there. In advance there.
Interest FC.
Yeah.
Always.
Liverpool are interested in Militao as well. But look, we said a lot about Militao last week, so that stream is still up on the channel if you want to check that out. It was up last Monday. I don't think it's going to happen, so I don't want to go into it today, but we did give our opinions on that one last week. We have Martin saying, definitely not. The English tax won't apply to PSG. You'd be lucky to get 30 million. Look, everyone, if you put down in the live chat what you think Spurs can get for Dele Alli if he does go to PSG this January. And it's a good point from Martin. English teams will pay a lot more money for English players, whereas PSG wouldn't, of course, fall into that same boat. But at the end of the day, they have a lot more money than any other team. So because of that, we could possibly manage to get them up. Paul Markey saying, saw a report on Twitter from La Parisienne that Spurs won 50 million.
Yeah. Tier 2 source, by the way. Tier 2.
Tier 2, hopefully a bit of truth in that one. Mark saying, is it an option to buy or an obligation to buy? Sorry, I think it is an obligation. I might have said option. I think Daniel Levy wants an obligation. He doesn't want to loan Dele Alli out and him to come back later in the window. I saw a comment up here, if I can find it again. Simon Cohen said 40 to 50 million for him. Alan Clark says 45 million. Ace Edwards says 20 million. Noy says 70 million, not a cent below that. Christopher W as well saying 40 to 50 million, and Mark Wooden saying at least 40 million for Dele, in my opinion. So it seems to be in and around the kind of 40-50 million pound mark. And to be honest, I think I'd take that now as well, because that would more than fund Marcel Sabitzer in the summer. And potentially it could even help us towards a loan deal for a centre back or something this window. But yeah, there's a whole lot that we could possibly talk about this one. I think it will rumble on. If it does go beyond this week to the last week of the window, it wouldn't surprise me if that was the case. But I quickly want to talk about a few confirmed deals that we've heard about this week, and they are both loan deals. Harvey White has joined Portsmouth on loan till the end of the season, and that was after Jack Clark moved on to Stoke for the remainder of the season. David, we start with Jack Clark. He's featured a bit this season. He's looked promising. He's looked good. But again, for the third time in the 2 years he's been at the club, he's back off the Championship for 6 months. What do you make of this one?
Every time you keep mentioning Jack Clark, I keep thinking of what Oscar said that from All News TV that they kind of done one over on us, to be honest with you, and he's sitting there delighted with it. Look, for me, I've said this before, I do think there's a player there. But like I watch many player interviews and documentaries and stuff like that, and the thing is, like even as a player, like some of them, even when they reach like 19, 20, they say, look, I have to go to the gym. I have to start bulking up here because physically, yeah, I'm good enough, but physically I'm not ready. So they start going to the gym and start bulking up, and that's exactly what Jack Clark needs to do. And for me, if he does that, we have a top prospect on our hands. Yeah, and those loan deals that we send out for players, it has worked in that regard sometimes. I've seen Ryan Sessegnon looks an absolute unit at the moment, and he's never looked at Spurs. Oliver Skip becoming a really physical player in the middle of the park from Norwich. And Charlie, David makes a great point on how he needs to bulk up. Isn't the Championship the perfect place to do that? Because it's just a very physical league.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think if you're looking at the Championship, can you really get more physical than that? Like, I probably wouldn't say so. You look at Jack Clark, he's someone we know he needs to bulk up. We've seen him when he's played. He looks a bit lightweight to me, Jack Clark. And as David said, I think there could be a player in there. So I think if he does similar to what Skip's done, because you look at Skip now, compared to what he was last season, now he's bulked up a lot. Same with Ryan Sessegnon going out to the Bundesliga. He's bulked up a lot. So I think if Jack Clark can do something similar, then maybe we could, and particularly for a team like Stoke, we know a physical team, as we know, and I think it could really help him there, to be honest. So yeah, I think there's definitely a player in there, and hopefully this loan deal can work out for him, because I think he just needs regular first team football, bulk up, and then maybe we could start seeing more of what he has to offer.
Yeah, exactly. And perhaps a loan deal could be the best for that. Alan Clark says Harvey White has the potential to become one of the best in the Prem if he stays with us. Charlie, we speak a lot about Harvey White. He's a dead ball specialist. He was so good against Marine. He looked physical in the middle of the park. He was confident on the ball. He was capable off of the ball. Portsmouth, in of course, a promotion race in the League One right now. Do you think this is the best move for Harvey White?
Yeah, 100%. I think as well, as we saw against Marine, he was brilliant. I've sort of seen a little bit of him before that Marine game and sort of a few youth highlights and stuff. As you said, very good at free kicks, very good at sort of dead balls, as you said. And I think I've seen a few people talking about us getting Ward Prowse and stuff. We don't need him. We got Harvey White at the end of the day. Very, very similar type of player. And I think... Sorted. Yeah, we're sorted in that aspect. And I think, a loan move is very good for him. I think, as you said, we're using the loan market very, very good this year. I think going to Portsmouth, as you said, League One, sort of physical league. And I think Portsmouth are a team pushing for promotion. So I think that could definitely help him, that he's not sort of in a struggling team. You look at someone like Troy Parrott, who has been the one exception with the loan system. He is playing in a struggling Millwall side who don't really play to his strengths. But you look at Portsmouth for Harvey White, a team battling for promotion. I think it could really, really help him. And hopefully, again, another player that probably does need to bulk up a bit. So hopefully we'll see him come the end of the season, back in pre-season next summer. Hopefully we could see him more bulked up and potentially there with more first team opportunities.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Before I come to you, to that one, David, I was going to say there are 100 people watching right now. So please, if you are new to the channel and you want more of these Transfer Talk live streams, breaking news videos, live watch-alongs, podcasts, anything you could want from a Spurs channel, make sure to smash that subscribe button down below, and I promise you will not be disappointed. Also, if you are interested in becoming a channel member and learning about some extra exclusive content that will be coming to members in the coming weeks, please hit that join button down below, and everything will be explained to you down there. But David, Harvey White gone to Portsmouth. What do you make of it?
Yeah, it's a fantastic loan move for him. Look, Portsmouth are a good club. They have some good players there, and like you both said, they're pushing for promotion. It's a perfect club for him to go to. He is going to get game time. And for me, look, I actually think give it another 2-3 years, he's going to be a mainstay in the Spurs team. I really do think he's that good. He has, like we said, he's a dead ball specialist. He's a wand of a left foot. But for me, look, I do think he needs to bulk up a little, but one thing I know that he has to make it as a top class player is he has that mentality. He has the mentality. Yeah. He was getting absolutely hammered by tackles against Marine, and he just got straight back up and played on. Not only that, but he was confident enough on the ball to dominate the game and everything else. For me, we have a real player in there, and I'm actually happy that he's gone out alone, because look, you can play all the Premier League 2 games you want. You hear so many players come out and get it. It's not the same as being in a first team playing match and getting repetition of matches and stuff like that. So it's absolutely perfect for him. I'm delighted for the kid.
Yeah, I just want to say as well before we get to this, another super chat from Jiminy. One of the midfielders for Marine who was in the middle of the park, and he was he's putting in a lot of tough challenges on Harvey White. His name is Josh Hamami. I DM'd him on Twitter to see if he wanted to come on the channel for an interview, just to have a quick chat about that, and he blocked me. Here,
wow.
Thanks so much for that, Jimmy. I appreciate it. He says save Dele, something a lot of Spurs fans would want at the moment. Alan says the way we develop our youth players is fantastic. The likes of Devine and Scarlett, who were 16, even players such as Sirkin and Skip when he rejoins. Guys, I was only thinking about this before we came on, and I was going to be kind of make a list of the players, but I didn't. There's so much exciting youth talent at our club right now. There's, of course, Alfie Devine and Dane Scarlett, who are mentioned there. There's Dennis Turkin, there's Oliver Skip, there's Ryan Sessegnon, Troy Parrott, Jack Clark, Harvey White, Jamie Bowden, Jaffa Tanganga, Joe Roden. There's such a lengthy list there. You can even go so far as to say Ndombele, who is getting better, somehow keeps getting better. How excited are you for the years ahead? And Charlie, I want to ask you as well, are you concerned maybe that some of these players won't get their opportunity under Jose Mourinho, or are you like me and you feel he's the manager to get the best out of them?
I do. I think the fact Jose not giving youth a chance, I think that's a myth. I've always said it's a myth because you look at what he's done since he's joined the club. He gave Jeffet Tanganga his debut. He's given Harvey White his debut. He's given Jack Clark some European minutes. Same with Dane Scarlett as well. He's given these guys minutes. So I'm 100%, I'm not concerned about the Mourinho thing because, as I said, that's a myth. I strongly believe that it's a myth with Mourinho and youth. So I think, but as you said, there is a long list there, a really, really long list. And I think Scarlett, for me, is someone who excites me a lot. He is banging in goals for fun. It's too easy for him, and he's only 16. So he should be a level up, the under-23s for me. You look at Alfie Devine getting the goal against Marine. He looks a proper talent. Everyone can go on about Smith Rowe all they want at Arsenal, but at the end of the day, we'll see what happens with the likes of Devine, because I think he's definitely got the potential to be a very, very good attacking midfielder. You saw the stats, his second half stats against Marine. I can't remember them at the top of my head. However, they were very, very promising in terms of chance creation. Of course, he got the goal, as I said. So you said as well, Dennis Sirkin is someone who David likes a lot, I know. He is a very promising left back. We've seen Mourinho bring him into sort of squads sort of last season in the FA Cup. He made the bench, in fact. So you can see Mourinho does like a lot of these players. And as I keep saying, it's a myth that he doesn't trust the youth. He clearly does. As I said, Tanganga, he got his debut. You look at as well, Rodon, players that we have brought in. Rodon was fantastic against Sheffield United, and he was probably one of the best defenders in the Championship. And you look as well, you can even put Reguilon in that bracket. Reguilon is only 23. You can put him in there. So we've got a lot of promising young players coming through. And I think there's definitely players that could be sort of a very, that could cement themselves in our plans for many years to come.
And I just want to, you talk about how this with Jose Mourinho and his not trusting youth players is a myth. The following players were all given their debut in one of Europe's top 5 leagues under Jose Mourinho. Angel Gomez at Man United, Dimitri Mitchell, Scott McTominay, Axel Tuanzebe, Andreas Christensen, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Dominic Solanke, Diego Llorente, Omar Mascarell, Fabinho, Dennis Cheryshev, Fernando Pacheco, Nacho Fernandez, Pablo Sarabia, Antonio Adan, Alvaro Morata, Giulio Donati, Rene Corin, and Davide Santon. That's just a quick list of players that have been given.
19 players.
That's 19 players that have been given their debut by Jose Mourinho in one of Europe's top 5 leagues, only in the top 5 leagues. There are more there. That's not the full list. David Ethelson says Tottenham's youth development has never been better. We'll win the league before too long. Most likely won't be this season, though. We need Jose Mourinho to stay. Our youth development is fantastic. It has been getting better and better. Do you think these players are at the best club for their own development?
First of all, I say it's about time. For years, I've been hearing about our youth academy, and it's produced absolutely fuck all. Now I'm absolutely delighted. Yeah, look, I believe Dane Scarlett will be top talent. I believe Alfred Devine will, Harvey White, Sorkin, even though I'm not impressed with him because he switched to England, so that's pissed me off. But to be honest with you, I don't think Troy Parrott's going to make it at Tottenham. I'll be the first one to say it here now. I don't think his attitude is right. I think for me, ever since he's gone out on loan or he's been in and around the senior team training, he's been injured a hell of a lot. And for me, until he can get his party boy lifestyle sorted out, I don't think he is going to make it, to be honest with you. But no, it's great to see some of these youth prospects coming through. You know what I mean? And hopefully we can get them through. One thing I will say is, by the time some of these lads come through, I don't think Mourinho will still be here. By the time like Scarlett and that already, I don't think Mourinho will be here to take them on. Mm-hmm. But look, let's not get clouded here. We still need to invest in the first team squad. I know we have a lot of talent coming through and everything else, but it's not going to get us out of the woods. We still need to invest in first team players.
Exactly, David, and as well, I'll make a point on that as well. You can't sort of put loads of expectation on youth players. You just got to not get carried away with these guys, because at the end of the day, if you put loads of pressure and expectation on them, it won't be good for them at all. So I think that's, as you said, that's partly why to sort of we still need to invest in the squad, but I think bringing these youth players in at the same time, I think it's better because you don't put the pressure on them. Sort of, you're like, you have to do this. We rely, like, you look at Arsenal relying on Smith Rowe at the moment, for example. We don't want to be in that boat, because if you put that sort of expectation on a youth player, it won't be good for them. It will not be good for a youth player like that. So that's just a point I wanted to add there, and to David's point.
Yeah, David, there's a United fan here in the live chat. Have you something to say to the fan who's warming the top of the table for
Lord Voldemort?
Yeah, look, you have Ole Gunnar Shoeshiner as manager. There's no way Shoeshiner is winning the league. You know, you have Luke Shaw, who breaks down more than Claude from AFTV. You have the French Carlton Cole in Martial out front. you know, you have a mop with bleach on it in Paul Pogba. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, all you are is table warmers. Don't worry. Enjoy it now because, look, it's the first time you've come out the closet in years. I'm delighted to see you. I forgot half of you were still alive, to be honest. So it's good. It's good that you've come out and let me know you're alive because now there's another one added onto my list. So as soon as United crumble, Lord Voldemort, make sure you come back with the same energy and same passion because I will always be here waiting.
Mark Wooden says he agrees with you on Troy Parrott, and Jimmy says Ole is a PE teacher. I've seen a few people asking about a certain story that came out in the last 24 hours or so from Eurosport, saying that Spurs are interested in taking advantage of Danny Ings' contract situation by potentially looking for a cut price move in the summer. I don't think there's any truth with Eurosport aren't a reliable source. It's just people looking for a story. I don't think there's too much to do with it. Do you?
No.
There's so much paper talk and shit that goes around. Like, you have to remember, a lot of people do it for views, ratings, readings, whatever they do it for. There's only about 10% of the rumours that end up ever coming true.
Yeah, that's very true. That's why here on this channel, we bring you the news from the most reliable sources, from the Fabrizio Romanos of the world. Sometimes he's even here talking to us. But yeah, all the most reliable stories ever on this channel. If you do want more access to that, smash that subscribe button and also hit that join button if you want access to exclusive content. Charlie, David, thank you so much for joining me today. I'll leave link to Charlie's channel is down in the description below. I'll add David's one in a second. I wasn't expecting him to be on here, but we were blessed with his presence. So to the two of you, thank you so much for joining me today. Have you any final words on Tottenham's transfer activity?
Let's get some deals done. Let's get that centre back in, get that midfielder. No, I'm joking. It won't happen this January, but it better happen in the summer. It better bloody happen in the summer, I'm telling you.
David?
Yeah, Joe Lewis, unstitch your pockets, put your hand in and fund me some players. I'm sick of getting mixed results. Get me the players that are going to make me win week in, week out and keep me happy. Please, Joe Lewis, it's about time you open the checkbook. Daniel Levy has done everything he can for you on making the club self-sustainable and run it the way he has. But now we're calling on you, Joe Lewis, to open the checkbook and go and get us some quality players. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Mark says thanks for the stream, guys. Thank you to everyone who has joined. The 140 of you that are left right now, smash that like button if you have enjoyed this. If actually, a quick one here. Alexander, welcome to the stream. Sorry you're joining just as we're ending. But Conor Cusack asks, who do you think will win tonight, Chelsea or Leicester? Potentially a big game for Spurs.
Hopefully a draw. Hopefully a draw. A draw is by far the best result for us. A draw, by far.
David?
No, one clan party shit. I keep telling people about him. He's like Leicester are winning tonight. Trust me.
To be fair, David has been spot on with that, Matt. I'm telling you, David has been spot on with Chelsea, and you love to see it. You love to see it.
David's been spot on with most things. But anyway, look, we'll leave it there. Thanks everyone who has joined. Smash that like button, smash the subscribe button. Go over to Charlie's channel, subscribe to him. Go over to David's channel, subscribe to him as well. And as always, to everyone who has joined us, thanks for watching.